Imagine a quiet evening. You're sitting at home. The room is almost completely silent. The clock on the wall ticks faintly, and suddenly, you notice it again. A soft ringing. At first, it seems far away. Maybe outside the window. Maybe the neighbors. But a minute or two passes, and you realize the sound isn't going away. It's inside, in your head, in your ears. And at that moment, many people have the same thought. Perhaps it's just age. But in 40 years of medical practice, I, Dr. Kim, have seen thousands of similar cases. And almost every person told me the same phrase, "Doctor, I'm just used to it." But there's one thing that most people don't understand. This ringing is not normal. It's quiet but persistent signal. A signal that your body is trying to tell you something. And today I'll tell you the truth that is rarely explained at appointments. In simple words, without complex terms, so that you finally understand what is really happening with your body and what can be done about it. Because in most cases, it's not a death sentence, it's a warning. So when a person hears a constant ringing, in the years in medicine it's called tinnitus. But the word itself doesn't explain anything. It only gives a name to the problem. And the cause may be much deeper. Your ear is not just an organ of hearing, it's a complex system. Inside, there are tiny cells, so small that they cannot be seen without special equipment. These cells capture sound vibrations and convert them into electrical signals. These signals are sent to the brain, and the brain hears the sound. But here's what's important. These cells are they're sensitive. They constantly need nutrients. They need oxygen. They need energy. And if something starts to become deficient, the system begins to malfunction. Imagine the wiring in your house starting to malfunction. A light bulb might flicker, or even glow completely when the switch is turned off. The same thing happens in the ear. The cells begin to send false signals, signals that aren't actually there, and the brain perceives them as sound, that ringing. Now the main question, why does this happen? In many cases, the cause is a deficiency. Yes, a deficiency. The body lacks certain substances, and most often this doesn't happen suddenly, but gradually, year after year. A person seems to eat normally, sometimes even properly, but there's a nuance. With age, absorption deteriorates. What the body previously easily absorbed from food is now absorbed less effectively. And at some point, a turning point occurs when the accumulated deficiency begins to manifest itself. And one of the first signals is ringing in the ears. Now let's figure out which substances play a key role. The first is magnesium. Magnesium is involved in the functioning of the nervous system. It helps relax blood vessels and improves blood flow. And blood flow is life for the inner ear. When there's a magnesium deficiency, blood vessels can spasm. Blood flow is impaired. Cells begin to experience stress, and that's when false signals appear. Second, vitamin B12. This vitamin is critical for nerves. It supports their sheath. Without it, nerve impulses begin to be transmitted incorrectly, and distortions appear again, including in hearing. Third, zinc. Zinc is involved in tissue regeneration and the immune system. It helps protect inner ear cells from damage. Fourth, potassium. Potassium regulates the fluid inside cells. And in the inner ear, fluid balance plays a huge role. Even a slight imbalance can cause noise and ringing. Now think about it. If a person lacks several of these elements at once, what happens? What happens? The system begins to malfunction, and the person hears things that aren't there. But there's another important factor, circulation. With age, blood vessels become less elastic. Blood moves slower, and the inner ear is one of the most sensitive organs to this. If blood flow decreases, the cells are the first to suffer, and the ringing returns. Now let's talk about what aggravates the problem. Coffee. Yes, regular coffee. It can temporarily constrict blood vessels, especially if you drink a lot of it. Salt. Excess salt disrupts the fluid balance. Alcohol. It affects the nervous system and blood circulation. Stress is one of the most underestimated factors. When stressed, the body is in constant tension. Blood vessels constrict, the nervous system is overloaded, and the ringing intensifies. That's why many people notice that the noise gets worse in the quiet of the evening before bed, because they are left alone with this sound. Now, the most important thing. Can this be fixed? In many cases, yes, but not in one way, but in a comprehensive manner. First, nutrition. Add foods rich in magnesium, nuts, greens, legumes. Second, B vitamins, especially B12. It is found in fish, meat, eggs. Third, zinc, seeds, nuts, seafood. Fourth, water. Adequate water helps maintain balance in the body. Fifth, movement. Even simple walking improves circulation, and this directly affects the condition of the ear. And one more important point, sleep. Good sleep is restoration. If you don't sleep well, the nervous system doesn't have time to recover, and the symptoms worsen. But I must say honestly, if the ringing appears suddenly, if it is accompanied by dizziness or hearing loss, this is a reason to see a doctor. And don't wait. Don't endure, but get it checked out, because sometimes there may be more serious reasons behind it. But in most cases, it is precisely a signal of deficiency and overload of the body. And if you pay attention in time, you can change the situation. I've seen this many times. People came with a constant ringing, and after a few months of the right approach, it became quieter, and sometimes disappeared. Completely, And in the end, I want to tell you one simple thing. Don't ignore your body's signals. It never sends them without a reason. Even a quiet ringing is a message. And you have a choice. Ignore it or understand it and help your body. Take care of yourself. Don't put off your health. And if this information was useful to you, support the channel, subscribe, and share this video with those who might find it important. Stay healthy.